Now we're ready to install the second piece of the pilaster leg. We've put a nailer block in place on that first piece, the field piece. So I should be able to come right over. I'll just kind of try to use my foot to elevate it up to about the right height. Now this piece is a little bit shorter than, or narrower than what's inside here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be nailing from both sides to try and kind of keep it centered up. The third piece just stacks right in above the second one. Now, I'm going to be doing some nailing straight through the face. Two things are important. One, that I get this as close as possible to being centered all the way around. And then where I do nail, I want to put most of those nails in places where moldings will cover them. There's a molding that's going to wrap around here so that I can shoot some nails in down there that cover it. Okay, Larry, what do you got? Not quite 3/4? I'm a strong 3/4. I may just need to give it just a little bit of a tap. Again, we've got a molding up here at the top that's going to cover it. Just going to nail it on the other side, and these pilasters will be ready for molding. And up here where the crown will cover it again. Well, now that you can begin to see how all the pieces go together, it's really not that complicated, is it? With the pilasters complete, our next step is going to be mounting the actual mantel shelf. With this portable jig, I can adjust the depth of hole I drill so that we can use these 2.5-inch screws and run a screw into each stud. We've laid out where the studs are, and I'm also going to run a screw out each side so that we'll be attaching to the pilasters on each side. I've already adjusted the stop collar for the 1.5 inch deep. And again, what that does is I'm going to be centering that hole in this 1.5 inch thick mantel shelf that we've got. Okay, that's our side hole. Each time I want to one more hole for the other end. Now we're going to go find a level, put a level mark there so that we can screw this to the wall right under that level mark. We're just starting to ease the mantel shelf in. A little bit of time. It's really a snug fit. I wish everything would go together like that well the first time. Are you in, Larry? We want to be just a tiny bit below so those screws can work it up a little bit. Now I'm going to start by, that's right where I want it. I want to put these screws into the side first. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Once we get this mantel shelf in place, we're going to be ready to start stacking those middle panel sections that are really going to start to look like something. Okay, now we're going to set the middle panel of this upper panel section. Get it centered up, I hope. Larry, how are you looking on your mark over there? Okay, in that case, I want to get just a fuzz here. It's real important that we get this quite centered because we're going to have another piece that sits over the top of it. All right, Larry, if you'll hand me those filler pieces. These filler pieces are as thick as this combined panel section. We're going to stand them over here in the corner and nail them in. So that when we put the final pieces, our two smaller panel sections in, make sure I get this in the right way, they'll sit in there level. Okay. Now I need to make sure I'm keeping the bottom sections in here right. Okay, now we're really starting to get to the showy part. Looks like we just did 3 days work in 30 seconds. The hammer can't pretty well take care of. Well, that's the last major piece in place. We're getting ready to start tying all this together with the moldings, but before we do that, let's just stop for a minute and review the pieces that we've made here. We start out with the background, the field piece that the pilasters were built off of. Then we added this lower panel section and upper panel section. We came in, put our mantel shelf in place, added the panel sections up above, and last of all, this lower panel section. Again, this is starting to look like a pretty complex piece of millwork, but remember, it's all done with really just one basic concept of pocket screwing together joints, either flat or on right angles, putting plywood behind the frame, and then adding different moldings. As you can see, there's all kinds of options that we could do. We could change out these moldings. There's just all sorts of things we can do to create different looks on this mantel. But now we're getting ready for kind of the finishing touches, putting all the finishing moldings on. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this material, don't forget to like and subscribe.